Hey guys, I wanted to share with you today some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of using the Mauser rifle. Um, this is just things that I've found out myself or that I've seen other guys do. I do World War II reenacting, and so I carry one of these around in the field. Um, pretend to shoot at people and all that stuff. And there's just some things that I've run across that I think you might find useful if you like to use the Mauser yourself. So hope you enjoy. So here's one thing that's actually become a pet peeve of mine. What a lot of guys like to do whenever they go to load their Mauser, they'll open the bolt, put the clip with the rounds in, feed them, and then the next thing they do is they'll grab the clip, take it out, and then they'll go ahead and chamber the next round. And really, it's completely unnecessary. The only reason why you'd want to do that, which is just to make sure that this doesn't go, flying on the ground. But really, you don't have to. The way this gun was designed by Paul Mauser was actually that you just simply push the bolt forward, the clip falls out, and you can chamber the round. You don't have to fumble around with the clip. They're meant to be expendable, so just go ahead, load the round, let it fall to the ground. It's gonna be fine. The clip will be okay, and this is the correct way of doing it. It's also faster and easier than having to mess around with the clip. Another thing is, say you just loaded in 5 rounds. Well, a lot of people either don't know or they just don't do is you can hold 5 rounds in the magazine and then put one in the chamber still. Now there's a couple different ways of doing that, but the best way of doing it is there's 5 rounds in the magazine right now. You take number 6, and instead of just sitting it there and pushing it forward, what you want to do is you want to take your thumb and press down on the bullet as far down as it'll go, and then press the bolt forward. Now what this does is it lets the round go up underneath the extractor, so that way when it chambers, the extractor doesn't have to go and jump over the rim of the cartridge. It's just a smooth feed as if it was just feeding from the magazine. And this is the best way of doing it. Now let's just say you either fired your round and you want to collect your brass for reloading, or maybe you didn't fire it, you just want to unload the rifle, you want to take the round out of the chamber. So well, instead of just pulling this back here, the round will automatically fly out of the gun. So it's a real simple, easy way of doing it, is while it's in the chamber, you simply just put your thumb over the whole bolt and then ride it back. It doesn't hurt your thumb at all. And see right there, the loose round is caught by your thumb. So this way, it doesn't fall on the ground and you don't have to fumble around for either the brass or the bullet. It's just right there with you. And I'll show you this one more time. Finger over the bolt. And there you go. It's just that easy. So another thing is, say you're shooting some really old military surplus ammo, and say you go and you fire the round and nothing. You have a round in the chamber, it fired. It's just some reason it didn't go off. Well, the Mauser action is a cock on open design, and you actually don't have to go through the whole cocking motion to recock the striker. All you have to do is lift the bolt handle up, and if you watch that coming back, that's the striker being pulled back, and then close it, and there it is. It's now recocked and ready to fire. So that's all you have to do. So say you're wanting to chamber a round. You want to chamber a live round into the gun because you're about to go somewhere. But say you're in a building or your house or something like that, and you don't want to maybe chamber the round and be able to fire it. You want to be able to chamber the round with the safety off. And this is one good thing about the Mauser that a rifle, say like the SMLE or Lee Enfield, doesn't allow you to do. So what you want to do is, with the bolt cocked, empty chamber, you want to then put the safety up into the top safety position. So this allows the trigger to be pulled without firing, but the bolt can be cycled. So now you just go ahead, cycle that round, and then flip the safety over into the right position, and this locks the bolt in place. And that way you just safely chamber it around and then lock the action. So now this is pretty darn safe. So another thing is, say you just loaded up your magazine and you're about to shoot, but the range goes cold, or you have nothing to shoot at, or for whatever reason, you want to now unload your magazine. Well, there is one way of doing that in the Mauser design, and that's to stick your cleaning rod or bullet into this detent in the bottom and pry it open, and the magazine floor plate falls out and all the rounds will spill out. You know, that's one way to do it, but that's really not the quickest and most simple way of doing it. So here's a really good, simple, and safe way of unloading the magazine on your rifle. So what you want to do is just make sure that it's cocked. Put the safety in the upright position. That's the way the gun is safe. And then now, you very simply just push it forward, pull it back, push it forward, pull it back, until the gun is empty. So you see the magazine is empty, and the gun was safe the whole time, and that's pretty fast. That's much faster than popping the magazine floor plate off and doing it that way. So next time you need to unload fast, this is the way you should do it. Here's another trick about the Mauser action. Say you say the bolt is cocked, and say you maybe for whatever reason you don't want to pull the trigger. Say you don't like doing that. You don't like decocking your guns by pulling the trigger, so you don't want to get in that bad habit. One way of doing it, which is much safer than just pulling the trigger when the gun's ready to shoot, is you open the bolt, make sure it's clear. Now you pull the trigger and then close the bolt, and you notice the bolt striker is decocked. So the gun is safe now. So I'll do that one more time. So with the bolt open, you pull the trigger and then close the bolt, and that keeps the striker from being cocked just by holding the trigger. So now here's another thing that most people who aren't into maybe military history wouldn't know, that the Mauser, the way a lot of soldiers carried these one-handed, is simply by a hand on the receiver ring. This is the rifle's center of balance. So you can see it's balanced here. It can be maneuvered fairly easily. So if you wanted to hold this with one hand, and you can run, you can tuck this under your arm, you can point it up to the sky so that it's safe. You can really just maneuver this around with your hand here on the center of balance. So this is actually also a safe way of carrying it while it's loaded, because your hand is away from the trigger, and it's just a very, very safe way and easy way of carrying, and that's why you see a lot of soldiers carrying the rifle just like this. So that's how you hold it. One hand receiver ring, and the same thing. It's very easy and maneuverable.